Have you ever taken a wildlife photo where the background looks very busy, or the subject's eyes are in focus, but everything else in the animal starts to fall out of focus? That's depth of field at work, and understanding how to control it can make a big difference in how your wildlife photos look. Welcome back to Tips Tuesday. Each week we share one photography tip to help you improve your wildlife photography out in the field, and today we're talking about depth of field and some practical things you can do to control it to help you improve your wildlife photos out in the field. So what is depth of field? Depth of field refers to how much of your photo is in focus or appears in focus from front to back. So if you're ever heard of a shallow depth of field, that means that there's a very thin sliver in your image that is actually going to appear in focus. A deep depth of field indicates that more of the image is going to be in focus from front to back. In wildlife photography, we typically want a shallow depth of field to help create some isolation between our subject and the background and the foreground elements. Now, there are a couple of different things that impact depth of field. The first is aperture. We already talked about aperture, but just a refresher, if you're using a wider aperture, say f2.8, f4, f5.6, that's going to create a shallower depth of field. If you're using a narrower aperture, so f8, f11, that's going to create a deeper depth of field. So more of the subject, more of the scene is going to be in focus at those narrower apertures. Another factor is the distance from you as a photographer to your subject. The closer you get to your subject, the shallower your depth of field is going to be, no matter what lens you're using. A third factor is the distance from your subject to the background. The farther away the background is behind your subject, the more out of focus that background is going to look, and the smoother it's going to appear. If the background is very close to your subject, then more of that is going to be in focus and it's going to start to get really distracting. And finally, the last thing we're going to talk about influencing depth of field is the focal length you're using on your lenses. Now, most wildlife photographers, most of the time we're using telephoto lenses. Telephoto lenses allow for a shallower depth of field compared to a wide-angle lens, even if you have similar framing of the subject. Now, there are a few practical things you can do in the field, in the moment, to help you create some isolation between your subject and the background and foreground elements. The first thing is to position yourself in a manner so that the background is far away from your subject. Typically, a good rule of thumb is you want the background to be as far behind your subject as you are to your subject. That allows you to create a nice blurred out background and to create some isolation between the background and the subject. Second is be careful using wide apertures. Even though they create a shallow depth of field, sometimes if you're very close to your subject, that shallow depth of field can actually hurt you because you're going to have such a narrow section of focus that if that subject moves or you move, you may actually now have your subject out of focus, so you need to make sure you're actually composing and refocusing your image whenever there's movement there using those wide apertures. If you're curious about how all these different things work together, there are actually free online depth of field calculator tools online. I have one linked down below. You can input all of your specific camera settings, lenses, distances to subjects, all those different things, and it'll spit out estimations of depth of field based on the gear you're using. It's just kind of a good thing to do where you can just kind of have a rough idea in your head of what your depth of field is going to be at different distances and focal lengths you're using. Now, the biggest takeaway here is understanding depth of field and the factors that influence it can really allow you to position yourself in the field, in the moment, in a location that'll allow you to get the images that you're trying to get, to create that isolation of your subject, a nice clean background if that's what you're looking for. And it really allows you to set yourself up for success out in the field. Now, there is actually one other thing that influences depth of field, and that is the sensor that your camera has. Now, that was a little bit more technical than I wanted to put in this short little video, so I'll have a separate video on how sensor size influences depth of field in another Tips Tuesday video. And if you're trying to implement these tips in your own photography journey but just needs a little bit more guidance, one thing specific to your goals and the gear that you're using, I do offer one-on-one coaching calls. I have information down below if you're interested. Otherwise, if this Tips Tuesday was helpful, please consider subscribing. I have a new Tips Tuesday video released every week, and I will see you again for next week's Tips Tuesday.